Hey guys, it's me Kevin, and today I am doing another AFL video, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2020 AFL season. Sorry this came out a little bit late, I was trying to finish a few other video ideas, but I finally got the season review out. It's that time of year again, where the air turns cold, where all the rain starts pounding down and winter is coming, and the AFL season is ending. And today I'm going to be reviewing the 2020 season of the AFL. The 2020 fixture was like no other we've ever seen. Because of coronavirus, the fixture was reduced to 17 rounds, and later just one round. Quarters were reduced to 16 minutes a quarter, games were played in front of empty stadiums, and the premiership was determined by the team who finished on top of the ladder, rather than being determined who wins the grand final. But despite the fact that the 2020 season was so much different compared to any season we've seen, it seemed like the results remained largely the same. Gold Coast on the bottom of the ladder, North Melbourne finished 9th despite having a positive winning percentage, and consistent performers West Coast, Collingwood, Richmond, Hawthorn, Sydney and GWS again finish in the top 8. But despite the consistency of the ladder when compared to other years, there was one major upset that popped up in the 2020 ladder, and that was Port Adelaide winning the premiership. Ken Hinkley was tipped by many to be the first coach to get sacked, and Port Adelaide was seen as a decent side without ever threatening the major premier contenders. That said, they were able to celebrate their 150th anniversary with a premiership thanks to a thumping 42-point win over the Gold Coast Suns at Metricon Stadium. Collingwood fans would be heartbroken for the third year in a row. They lost by 5 points in the grand final in 2018, 4 points in the preliminary final to an injury-depleted GWS in 2019, and now, despite winning by 52 points, which is the greatest winning margin of the season, because they conceded 5 extra points compared to Port Adelaide, it was enough to knock him off the premiership and put him in second spot. So Collingwood fans will be heartbroken once again. Nothing new. GWS responded from their grand final humiliation relatively well with a promising 32-point win over Geelong. While the same cannot be said for Melbourne, who, after a very disappointing 2019 season, which came after a preliminary final finish in 2018, Melbourne proved over the season that 2019 wasn't a fluke, and Melbourne deserved to be in the bottom 4 with a 27-point loss to the Eagles. Unfortunately for both Brisbane and the Bulldogs, 2019 was a fluke for the pair of them, also landing bottom 4 spots. Along with Brisbane, Geelong were probably the most disappointing team of the 2020 season. After finishing first on the ladder and having come off a preliminary final finish, they fell all the way to 14th. Similarly, Brisbane finished in the top 2, but crashed back to 15th. So, despite having a miracle run in 2019 from 15th in 2018 to 2nd in 2019, they crashed back down to 15th for the 2020 season. Sydney were able to finish a rebuild quite quickly after having missed the top 8 for the first time in 10 years. It looked like Sydney might be going for a bit of a rebuild. Instead, they make the top 8, while Essendon proved doubters wrong by finishing in the top 8 for the third year in 4 years. And once again, Gold Coast very disappointing. Another year with big thrashings, or a big thrashing, and another wooden spoon. One of the quirkiest stats of the 2020 season. For the first time since 1964, an AFL team goes the entire season without winning. But it wasn't just one AFL team, it was 9 AFL teams. Yes, 9, unbelievable. Those included Adelaide, Brisbane, Carlton, Fremantle, Geelong, Gold Coast, Melbourne, St Kilda and the Bulldogs. Furthermore, for the first time since 1928, a team went the entire season without losing a game. But, like the winless season stat, 9 teams went the whole season undefeated. Those included Collingwood, Essendon, GWS, Hawthorn, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, Richmond, Sydney and West Coast. Another record that was broken in the 2020 season was the percentage. Both Port Adelaide and Collingwood recorded season percentages of 262 and 252%, beating the previous highest percentage, which was 202, set back in the 1930s. But really, how did the season pan out? It all started on a Thursday night where Richmond and Carlton played each other at the MCG in front of no crowd. The lowest crowd in VFL AFL history. Richmond were able to win by 24 points and lay an early claim for the premiership and defend their 2019 title. However, their premiership defence ended the very next day when Collingwood thrashed the Bulldogs by 52 points. Having to rely on 7 more teams to have a smaller win than Collingwood, Saturday began with Essendon beating Fremantle by 6 points. Although it wasn't enough to win the premiership, and Sydney beat Adelaide by 3 points thanks to Taylor Walker missing with a minute to go. GWS then tried to bounce back from the 2019 humiliation, and while they made a decent finish in 5th spot, it wasn't enough to win the premiership. However, unfortunately for Collingwood, they would have to get through one more game on Saturday before they would have to rely on Sunday results to win the premiership. But unfortunately, on the Saturday night, Port Adelaide thrashed Gold Coast by 47 points while restricting Gold Coast to just 29 points, which was enough to overtake Collingwood on top of the ladder. Collingwood fans would be heartbroken, whilst Port Adelaide would be shaking in front of the TV, watching their last 3 games of the season in agony. And the first one worked to their favour as North Melbourne were only able to beat St Kilda by 2 points, and Hawthorn only beat Brisbane by 28 points. So for Port Adelaide fans, all they had to do was watch the Eagles win by less than 46 points, and Port Adelaide would win their first premiership since 2004. For the Eagles, they were pretty dominant against Melbourne all day, but it wasn't enough for the Eagles to overtake Port Adelaide in first spot, and therefore Port Adelaide won their first premiership since 2004 on their 150th anniversary. Another major quirk in 2020 is the AFL ditched the 3-2-1 voting system voted by the umpires for the Brownlow medal. Instead, they got Kane Cornes and Mitch Cleary to decide the Brownlow medal winner for the year, and there was no Brownlow count, so they revealed the Brownlow medalist on the round so far, and the Brownlow medal went to Toby Green. It was a very controversial call, as most fan bases hate Toby Green, and a lot of people commented, how could you give Toby Green the medal? But he didn't get suspended this year, probably the first time he hasn't gotten suspended in a season, and just enjoy that medal, Greenie. For the Coleman medal, it was another quirk, as 4 players won the Coleman medal for kicking 4 goals during the season. That went to GWS's Toby Green and Harry Perryman, along with Sydney's Isaac Heaney and Carlton's Jack Martin. Toby Green became just the 2nd player in VFL AFL history to win the Brownlow and the Coleman in the same year, first being Tony Lockett back in 1987. The Ron Edens medal went to Sam Sturt of the Fremantle Dockers. That was despite Matt Rowell for the Suns being heavily favoured for the NAB Rising Star Award. The AFL Goal of the Year went to Carlton's Jack Martin for his goal against Richmond on Thursday night, while the AFL Mark of the Year award went to Hawthorn's Ben McAvoy for his mark against Brisbane on Sunday afternoon. Alright, if you guys didn't notice already, it was a joke video, and in all seriousness, let's hope that the AFL season resumes around June so we can get some footy, and so we can get a proper premiership that isn't awarded by Port Adelaide finishing on top of the ladder just because they beat Gold Coast. I mean, West Coast, if they played Gold Coast in round 1, they would have finished on top. Collingwood would have been begging the AFL to play Gold Coast in round 1 so they could finish on top. So let's not award the premiership to Port Adelaide just yet. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment what you think of the video down below. Did you like it? It wasn't a serious video, and it's something I don't usually do. I usually do more serious videos, but this was me mocking the fact that we've only had a 1-round AFL season so far, and we don't know whether it will come back. Let's hope it does, but yeah. I will be uploading an AFL fixture request soon, so that should come out soon. I'll see you next week. Bye.